Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Kathy at Northstar Prepsteader. Alicia, you are the first one. Hey, Grammy Karen. Hello. Thank you. Thank you both for coming. I really appreciate that so much. Oh, another Monday evening. Woo! Yes. And how are things in Kentucky, Grammy Karen? Alicia, thank you. That was great. Um, it's still hot there. Oh, well, I guess I'm not surprised. Today we were 80 degrees too. I mean, we've been in the 40s and 50s, even at frost, and then all of a sudden we have one day 80 degrees, and it's like boom, and then it's gonna drop again. Hey JB, how are you doing? Thank you for coming. Dry for a few more days. Well, I hope you get rain. We are saturated here. We've been getting it's been raining now for 3 days, and we're supposed to have another 3 days, something like that. So it's really hindering outside progress for getting ready for winter. So it's I hope that it can dry up pretty soon. We're supposed to be down close to freezing again this week sometime. So Alicia, where are you at again? I can't remember. I need to add you to my list here. Hey, Christy. Hello. How are you doing? How is sunny California? Alicia. I'm just adding you to my list, Alicia. It helps me to know kind of where everybody is. So, in Nova Scotia. Okay. That is one place I want to visit sometime. I haven't been to Canada since I was a kid, and I want to get so bad. I want to see like from west to east coast. I want to see the whole thing. I want to go through the mountains and get to British Columbia, and then kind of all over. And then, I'd probably have to take about 6 weeks and just kind of drive everywhere, and it would take me that long, I think. The fall color. Oh, thank you for the invitation. Yeah, the fall colors, I'm sure. We've been, our leaves have been changing for a couple weeks now at least. I actually have my ash tree in my yard is not only changed, but all the leaves are done on it. It's already gone. It's bare. I have some other trees that haven't started turning yet. Some are kind of halfway in there. But hey, Brenda. Hello. Thank you for coming. And we have Gil here too. Hello, Campton Family Compound from snowy Idaho. Did you get some out there? I don't know if you're in northern or southern Idaho or not, but I know northern Idaho got hit. So Nova Scotia, Canada. Yeah, you guys, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate that. And I was kind of busy. So Christy said, Alabama, soon to be Tennessee, getting out of the city. You're moving? Is that what that means? Ooh, Christy, that would be so nice. I'd be really happy for you because I know that's what you've been wanting. So thanks, Karen. I appreciate that. After last week when we were talking about it, I did get some more. And for a few short hours over the weekend, I got to 700 and then went back down a couple. And I was at like $6.99, and I'm like, oh, it seems like it takes forever just to breach these milestones, kind of these levels. So, but it is what it is. I can only do so much, and it'll grow. I just figure like oh, there's an Asian beetle in the house. They're here. I'm sorry, distracted. Anyway, I figure that I'm building a good foundation, that it's, even if it's growing slower than, you see a lot of other sites growing and stuff like that, I'm totally okay with that, because I don't have the time or the resources or anything like that to really be able to grow really fast and to make it really good. So there's a lot of other responsibilities and different things that I have to depend on, or that depend on me. So I'll grow this as I can and enjoy my time with you guys as I'm doing this. So I appreciate that. Hey, Lou. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate that. So be careful. Oh, Dave, you're not that late. Only a few minutes. So hello to you. Thank you for coming. We've got some good people here. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you came. Yeah, we were just kind of talking about fall and the trees changing and how things are going. We actually had our first frost Saturday morning, so September 28th. It was a light one. It wasn't, really hard killing frost or anything like that, but it was enough where rooftops were totally coated and ditches had frost in them and things like that. Luckily, I've got most of my things out of the garden that can be damaged. I just have some herbs and things like that in there that seem to be fine. But the end of this week looks like it could be down to freezing again very easily. So it won't be too long before we are well below freezing and snows here. So if it can hold off as long as it wants to. But speaking of the Asian beetle that I just seen there, I don't know if anybody knows, but they look just like a ladybug. And years ago, the deep south, and I'm sorry you guys from the south, I'm not putting any blame on you personally or anything like that, but it all came about with the cotton crops. There were certain aphids and things like that on the cotton crops, and they found that that the ladybugs or whatever were able to eat. They liked these aphids. Well, somebody had a bright idea of bringing in Asian beetles. That obviously Asian beetles, they're not native to North America. So they brought them in to try to help the cotton crops, and of course it did. Well, they didn't have the foresight at all to realize that they were going to multiply and spread throughout the United States. Well, now whenever we go into soybean harvest, which is just beginning now, though it's very, very wet, so it's kind of holding off a little bit. But as soon as the soybeans start being like stirred up and things like that, when they're harvesting and everything, the Asian beetles come in and love to just eat whatever's around there. And so they come in swarms. I mean, literally swarms. And you can't even go outside. And they come in through cracks in the house. Somehow they get in, but these aren't nice like ladybugs are. These will actually bite and they hurt, and they get under your shirt, your collars, under your pant legs. Just they get in everywhere and they'll bite, and you just like getting these bites on your back and your side, and you're trying to get that there's a bug in there, and it's like they're just terrible. So it makes it really hard to work outside. Just when I need to be outside doing winter prep and everything. So it's like kind of aggravating in that way. So Alicia, I have been on YouTube since pretty much right around January 1st, 2019. So 9.5 months, 10 months. Yeah, about 10 months now, I think. Is that what the October? No, 9 months. Yeah, 9 full months. So just starting my 10th month now. So it's coming. There's some that are on 3 or 4 months and they're already at 4,000 subs and monetized and everything. But they're able to be on every day and they're working it and everything else. But they have the financial freedom, I guess you could say, kind of to do that in a way that I don't. So bug just dropped down near my feet. I am gonna be bothered by this guy now. Usually I kill them right away in the house, but okay. Um, exactly, Chrissy. It's not about the growth, it's about friendships and and I'm getting to know you guys while I'm still small enough where my chat goes slow and I can really get to know you guys, so it's really great. So you had your first frost warning last night. Yeah, it's been pretty chilly up that way. Um, let me see. So, Dave, mid 30s, would that be for your lows then or your highs? Oh, the stink bugs. Ew, yeah, those get bad. Um, yes, you're right, Christy. You have some of those too, then, out there. Oh, they're just nasty. And, even if I put like some kind of spray or deterrent like around the doorways and the windowsills and stuff like that, and if they get it, it's crawling up my modem antenna right now. Oh, this thing is just crazy. But anyway, and they're kind of in the beginning of their death throes type of thing. They make these tracks all around, all over my wall and everything, and it's just like poop tracks all over. And so by the end of the season, I have to go and wash walls and doors and everything because they've just got these bug poop tracks everywhere. So Gil, you froze this morning. You're up to 46. Okay, so you're dealing with definite frost there and freezing. So um, boy, they look so much the same. I would say the Asian beetles, they're a little more rust color, whereas they think the ladybugs they're a little bit more red. They still have the black spots. Otherwise they're exactly the same. Um, the other way to test it is ladybugs don't bite. The Asian beetles do. So, hey, Leanna, hello. Thank you for coming. I'm getting a little behind on my chat, so I know you've been here for a little while. We get caught up here. Okay, good. Everybody's just saying hi. TNS Dogs and Dragonflies Farm. Well, hello. Thank you for coming. I don't recall seeing you before, so thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Stink bugs, I don't know that we've got stink bugs here. I'm not sure. So, yeah, Leanna, I think you probably got the frost the same time we did, which was Saturday morning, really early. So, and it wasn't that much. I think we made it down to like 34, 35, but it was still enough and the dew point low enough where it did freeze. I mean, we had frost everywhere. So, oh yeah, biting beetles are just like, yes, Dave, bug poop. Yeah, you can't even use that to fertilize or anything, So it's just, oh, it's great. Yeah, you're right, Leanna. Everything is so saturated here and mucky, and just can't get out and really do anything. So, Brenda, you've got the Japanese beetles. Oh, yes, they do. They destroy everything. I don't remember exactly where you live again. I'm sorry. I didn't have you written down here, so oh, thank you, Dave. The number of spots are different with ladybugs versus the Asian beetles. There's quite a few. I'm trying to see. There's probably 10 or 12, at least on the back of that particular beetle. So I would imagine that maybe the Asian beetles have more spots. I am in West Central Minnesota, JB. Hello, Abiding Acres. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. Hmm. Oh, Missouri. Okay. Thank you, Brenda. Really appreciate that. Um, the Asian beetle's natural habitats are light-colored rock outcroppings, so they go after light-colored houses more. Oh, that is interesting. And mine is light gray. Hmm. So TNS dogs and dragonflies farms. That's dogs and dragonflies. Um, what is your name? And now you're in Northern California. And is there a name that I can call you by instead of your full channel name? It just makes it a little easier sometimes if I get to know. So, oh, Dave, 45 days with Japanese beetles. Yeah, when they eat everything, it's just crazy. It really is. Yep, Leanna, the humidity is high. We hit 80 at least, maybe 81, and now it's overcast again, so the temperature will be dropping. But we've had some pretty decent storms coming through. Hello, Homestead Tessie. Thank you for coming. You're right, Dave. Time to paint the house dark. Thing is, I've got vinyl siding. I don't know that you can paint vinyl siding, but um, Shelly. Well, thank you, Shelly, so much for coming. I really appreciate that. Shelly, you have a farm. Is it more than just dogs and dragonflies, or is it a homestead, or are you like a full blown out farm, or what do you have? So, oh, Dave, when you're getting the raspberries and blueberries going, that's hard. You've been working so hard out there too. I know that. So, uh, 34 Celsius. Oh no. So I'm trying to remember. Are you in Ontario, Abiding Acres? And I totally forgot your first name too. I'm sorry. Japanese beetles are why there have been so many crop dusters flying over. Yep. You know, I know we don't want any of the pesticides and stuff, but tell you what, sometimes some of those things they just mow through our crops. It's kind of tough. So, um, so Dave, do you go by Celsius then too? Oh, chickens in your garden, just about anything you can plant and grass. Oh, that's great. That sounds wonderful. Yeah, the oh my goodness, Canada has just gotten whacked with snow this time. Northwest Ontario. Okay. Kimberly, I do have a question. Um, in being in Minnesota, and I know Ontario kind of it comes over our northern border and it kind of wraps around down to Michigan and around that area. Now, I understand how Toronto and that whole area can be southern Ontario. But so many people, like even in Sault Ste. Marie, which to me is like central Ontario, when you're looking all the way up to like Hudson Bay, but they call like Sault Ste. Marie and the North Shore of Lake Superior as Northern Ontario. And it confuses me sometimes because they go, oh, we're in Northern Ontario. And I'm like, oh, wow, you're really way up there. And because for us, Northern Minnesota is like the top fourth of the state. And so where I'm at in West Central Minnesota, I mean, some compared to how Ontarians, Ontarianites, people in Ontario, how they describe Ontario and the locations, that would put me in northern Minnesota. So I'm just wondering how you guys kind of figure that out. I mean, is there like a a specific line, or it's like anything north of the Great Lakes is Northern Ontario, or north of Lake Superior is Northern Ontario, or just wondering how that works, because I've been wondering that for quite a while. So, um, so all right, Homestead Tessie, put the chickens to bed. That's quite all right. Oh, you know what, Alicia? I never realized that the thermometers for testing a fever would only be in Fahrenheit. Okay, interesting. Like, I have 101 fever type of thing. So whether you say my temperature is 35, and you're going, oh, you're freezing. So, the chickens are still playing. Oh, it depends on where you are in Ontario, whether you're northern or southern. I think there's some Canadians that think that, okay, like if I am really in central Ontario, but I'm saying I'm in northern, it makes them sound tougher, more durable. Like we deal with a lot more weather than the southern part does. I don't know. Speaking of you girls, Dave, how are they doing? Yes, Ontario is huge. It is huge. It is very huge. All right. My subject for the night is on tea. So, okay. So, Kimberly, you said you're an hour north of Ottawa. So, technically, you're the northern Ontario. Yeah. So, and maybe it has to do with where the populated cities are, because I don't know if there's that much that's like up towards Hudson Bay. It's kind of like you know Alaska and some of the other countries, or provinces and different things like that. Um, so anyway, I want to talk about what's in our tea. Sorry about the train. And really, I made this discovery probably I want to say maybe 2 years ago, because I make my own kombucha. I've been doing it for like 6 years or so, and I was always using I use black tea and green tea, and one of the I was actually using like a Bigelow pomegranate flavored green tea, and thought that that was all wonderful and fine, and I didn't have any issues with that. Well, my younger daughter is highly allergic to soy, and something she developed in the last few years. And she was always getting sick when she was drinking my kombucha, and I couldn't figure it out. It's like, it's gut healing, it's good for you, you shouldn't be getting an upset stomach, you shouldn't be getting sick from it. And so I went to look at the ingredients on the tea. Now, the black tea was just straight black oolong tea, and it was just basic. So I was okay with that. But the pomegranate tea, it was like filled with fillers of soy and all kinds of other stuff. And I was like, what? I thought this was just like green tea. It's like, that was the first time I was really made aware of the fact that um, they were throwing all kinds of things into the tea. And I was like, oh no. So I spent months trying to convert my kombucha over to where it wouldn't be have any traces of soy left in it at all. So, getting a new starter and getting different tea bags and flavors or whatever, different things like that. So, anyway, oh, Dave, you love kombucha though. Well, that's good. Yeah, if and those are for those of us who drink tea. Now, I don't drink coffee, so tea is a good substitute for me. But I also, probably in the last few weeks, have started kind of like a little bit of my winter regimen. I do a lot of, or I I'm very, very susceptible to respiratory ailments and infections and different things like that. I've had pneumonia over 20 times in my life, that type of thing. And so I've been hospitalized a number of times. So my lungs are really, I don't know if you'd say fragile, but they're, I can get stuff easily. So last year I found that a mix of peppermint leaf and mullein leaf and sage is a really, really good on the for my lungs and my breathing and my respiratory. So what I do is I make my own tea, and I've got a cup right here, and this is the kind of tea thing that I use. So I've got my probably a teaspoon of each of the leaves in here, and then I can just keep it in my mug and pour hot water over it. And what I like about this is that it's bigger containers, so that if I need to have like a mix of a bunch of different things in there, I can. It's got this little thing that hooks over the lip of the mug. Also has this little tray that I can just set this right in. Now it's just kind of full because I just pulled it out of the water. And I've tried a number of different things. Here's like a regular old tea ball that that you open up like this and close. And this works fine too, but it, you don't really have any place to set it on. It's not flat on the bottom or anything. It also only holds what you put in the bottom, whereas this other one, you can fill it up more. Of course, now it's expanded because the leaves are thing, but the top comes right off. And so I really, really like this one. I actually have two of them in case this one were to break, so I have an extra. Another form is like this, like little tea ball, and it just like opens up like a little crab or something like that. So you can put some tea leaves in here, and then you can just keep it down in your mug and pour the hot water over and pull it out, and then just empty it out. So this one doesn't hold very much, but that is an option too. So anyway, I'm going to try to catch up on my chats real quick here. Kimberly, you buy Stash organic tea or you make your own? Yep. Oh, Dave, thanks. That'll be good. Yep. It has really made a difference. Like if I actually have a cold or something, I'll have like 4 or 5, 6 mugs of tea a day or something. So thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate that. I hope I stay well this winter too. So it is good for respiratory. Yes, Karen, it is. Yep, JB, always check the labels. Oh, Chrissy, good. I hope that can help you. Yep, mullein is great for the lungs. And I actually learned that from, I was watching Kay Cottrell, who's a late bloomer channel, and she had gone to visit a friend of hers in Germany, and her name's escaping me right now, but she's got like this full out garden that is just medicinals. And she was going through each one and explaining what each one was for. And she said sage is for respiratory and asthma and different things like that. And I'm like, whoa, really? And it's like, oh my gosh. And then she goes, mullein leaf is for respiratory. And I'm like, wow. So you put all 3 of them together and it's great. It really makes a difference. So, so you have the mint and sage. Okay, good, Christy. Yeah, last year I did grow peppermint this year, so I'm starting on the process of growing my own, but these others were some organic leaves that I bought. I can't remember if they're in my local organic store or if it was on Amazon or both. So, hey, Stringfield Ridge Farm. Hello, thank you for coming. Really appreciate that. And Michigan Daffodil, hi. That's okay. You are here. Better late than never, right? Thank you. So Shelly, you've got to grow your own chamomile and mix dried rose petals with honey. All those beautiful, perfect. So yeah, chamomile is something I'd like to add to the mix. Yeah, Ariel at Fine Knit was just showing about her rose hips. Just a couple days ago, she did a video on that about collecting all of her wild rose hips, and then she dries them and grinds them up and uses those too for yeah. Oh, good. Oh, good, Kimberly. I'm glad that you've got that. That'll be great. Yes, dry them, and you can don't grind them into it like a powder, but just enough so that they're not like a big chunk or something. Yeah, and use those. She said that um, one rose hip has, I don't know, 2,000. What is it? No, an orange has like 50. One orange has like 50 milligrams of vitamin C. A rose hip has like 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C. So the difference between the two, there's so definitely, if you can get rose hips, that'd be great. Sage for hot flashes. I didn't know that. So I have not used fire cider. Okay, it's good for the lungs too. Good. I've just heard about that over this last year and watched a couple videos on it and not made it myself yet, but that's certainly something that I may end up adding to my arsenal this winter. Yes, Leanna, rose hips are very high in vitamin C. So, oh, Michigan Daffodil, I didn't know that you were going to be visited by them. That's great. That is very good. It was Ariel at Phi Knit. It's FYNYTH, two different words. And she's a young woman that lives in she lives off grid in a tiny house in the mountains of Wyoming, and so she's very much forages and lives off the land and everything. So she's got a lot of good things. Okay. Yeah. So Alicia, you do need to be careful with some of those things. So, oh, Dave, that'd be so great. I don't have any around here, and I would love to have some, but although I do have a friend who might have some, I'll have to check with her and ask her. So Gil says vitamin C is easily degraded during cooking and elevated temperatures and long cooking times when possible. Okay. So in other words, we just don't really want to cook that. Does that mean also steeping it in hot water, would it do the same thing? I have a loss of vitamin C. So rosemary, thyme, and sage is great for inhaling if you have a cold or the flu. If you can drink it for sore throat, they're germ and virus destroyers. Ooh, so rosemary, thyme, and sage. I'll make a note of that one too. Rosemary, thyme, and sage for cold, flu, sore throat. Thank you, Brenda. I really appreciate that. That one's good. You add rose hips to your yogurt. Oh, there you go. So you're getting the vitamin C, but not cooking it. So, yep, it is a good channel. So rosemary is good for the memory. Three sisters and herbals. Yep, rosemary, thyme, and sage. Ah, that's great. That is great. Well, some of the other things that I found out about tea that I kind of want to share with you. I'm always kind of digging up stuff. So, all right. When the best way obviously is to grow your own herbs if you can and dry them, because then what you've put around them. You know that they're organic. You know that there's no pesticides. There's nothing like that. Mi Gardener has some wonderful like like seed groupings, different things like that, packages that you can start your own tea garden like Jen Stivers did. So Granny Karen, you can attest to that. That would be so great. And, things to help you get started. But I would encourage you just to grow the things that you know that you need for your own health. Like for me, respiratory things and colds and stuff like that, that I can grow, that I can keep on hand for the things that I am susceptible to. Other people would have other issues, different things like that. So, make sure that you grow what you need and what you use. I mean, don't grow and waste your garden space on a whole bunch of stuff that you will never ever use. So definitely, and then make your own tea mixes too. Now, right now, I've got these like in separate jars and everything, but I could certainly, if I know that I'm going to be using peppermint, mullein, and sage all the time in a mix, I could certainly throw these all together and make them. The only thing about this way is that I know exactly how much is going into them, so that it's not getting like off balance, that type of thing. So Gail says, because vitamin C is water soluble and sensitive to heat, it can leach out of vegetables when they're immersed in hot water. Okay. Would steaming the vegetable do the same thing? They're not immersed in hot water, but they're still cooked. Just wondering. B vitamins are similarly heat sensitive. Yeah, I think a lot of vitamins are lost when they're cooked. That's why it is encouraged to eat raw as much as you can, or the fermenting does help to keep that, I would imagine, right? Because you're not cooking the stuff, you're keeping them in a raw state, which is fermenting them, and that's why it's incredibly good for you too. Oh, Christy, yeah, this really, really helped. Okay, so a little bit of information on things like this. So if you're going to go to the store and just buy brands of teas, if you're going to get Lipton or Bigelow or Trader Joe's or Celestial Seasonings or any of these kind of brands, this was an eye-opener for me too. I knew stuff was in there, but this is just incredible. Says many of today's tea brands are operating under the guise of providing health benefits and promoting clean living, but they're actually laden with pesticides, toxins, artificial ingredients, added flavors, and GMOs. Most of the tea that you buy, even this kind of stuff, most of it is not washed before it's put into the tea bags. That means that if the tea was sprayed with cancer-causing pesticides, those pesticides go directly into your mug when you are doing the tea. So it's going right into here. And then when you're heating it, obviously that's going to exacerbate the problem even more. 91% of Celestial Seasonings tea that was tested had pesticide residues exceeding the US limits, which are already way too high. For example, Sleepy Time Kids Goodnight Grape Herbal contained, I don't know what this is, 0.26 ppm of propachlor, which is a known carcinogen under California's Proposition 65. So anyway, it's full of carcinogens. So so those are things that are already like prepackaged and different things like that. So really, really, I'd highly recommend that you don't get any of the prepackaged ones. Then you start like, well, I can get loose leaf teas and go that way. Well, high-end loose leaf teas. Tivana was the one that I was reading about here. That was tested by an independent lab, and 100% of the tea that was tested was found to contain pesticides. One in particular, which is called monkey picked oolong, contained 23 pesticides. 77% of all the teas that they have would fail European Union pesticide import standards and would be banned from import. 62% of them contained traces of endosulfan, a pesticide that has been banned by the US, China, the EU, and 144 other countries because it's been linked to impaired fertility and could harm unborn babies. So I have a little bit more, but I want to catch up on my chat here. So Gil said that somewhat for steaming, the liquids can drip up when steaming, but not nearly as bad. But I know if you have to cook them, then that would be bad. I would imagine it's like, don't rely on your cooked food to give you the nutrients that you really need. So, oh, Dave, it's great that you're doing a lot more fermenting. You know, I've done only a very little of it, and that's something I really need to step out of my comfort zone with and try this winter and do a lot more. Alicia, good, thanks. That's yep, Michigan Daffodil, you're right. It's just one step at a time. One step at a time, and that's all we can do, you know. But yes, JB, it is sad to hear because I mean they've got some great flavors and it's wonderful, but it's, you know. Bye, Brenda. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate that. Mount Rose Herbs has good stuff. Yeah, like you said, if you can grow your own for what you know that you need and you're able to in whatever you know, zone or situation you're in, even if it's just in pots that you've got around your house, that's still an improvement. So yes, Kimberly, it is amazing what they're doing to our foods. So hot drinks are not good for your mouth, esophagus, and stomach linings. Excessive heated liquids that make the intestines will damage the brain. Okay. So the reason I do let my tea cool down before I drink it, but so yarrow is another really good one too. Yeah, you know, do some research and study on the things that will help your things, like if you have a lot of gut issues, or if you have you know, breathing issues, or if you've got like headaches a lot, or different things that require different different herbs in that way. So yes, warm cocoa is good. So the last little bit for the tea are the bags that they come in. Even really, really awesome, wonderful bags. You know, they taught about these luxurious mesh bags or silky sachet bags and the different things that hold the loose leaf teas. And you're going, okay, those are great. They're not you know, your everyday things, and they should be fine and all this kind of stuff. Well, those modern day bags that they say are so wonderful and everything, they are actually made of plastic. And if they're not made of plastic, they're made of GMO corn. So either way, you are getting this stuff in there. And they say, well, while the plastics are generally considered among the safest in terms of leaching potential when they're in your teas, the molecules in the bags may still, in fact, break down and leach out when they're steeped in boiling water. It's like, duh, you know? Yeah, of course. And when they're in boiling water, they release phthalates, which are chemicals that are used to make plastic. Phthalates have been found to be associated with hormone reproductive and developmental issues. So it's like anybody who's got hormone issues, hypothyroid, different things like that. It's like, don't be using your, because you can go on Amazon. It's like, oh, I can buy 100 of my own tea bags, and I can make my own tea, put my, grow all my herbs and put my tea bags so they can have a nice little tea bag in there. So I don't have these, bits and pieces of tea leaves floating around and everything. And just, you don't realize then what you're adding to it. It's terrible. So, Alicia, mint tea for gut issues. Excellent. Very good. Yeah, it's, I'm just like, you try to get off of soft drinks, try to, maybe not drink coffee, trying to get healthy, thinking, well, tea is always a really good thing, but it's like, you just have to be careful and figure out what you're putting in it and see what's going on. So, anyway, thank you, Leanna, for putting that up. That's great. So, yeah, Grammy Karen. So just, continue to encourage Jen to just grow all her own things like that. And certainly, if you lift this up here, got all these different ways to be able to steep your tea and all the things here. And, I think there's even some teapots you can get that will actually have like a basket inside the teapot. Like if you're going to make a whole pot of this tea rather than one cup at a time, they'll have a basket there. You can just put your loose leaf tea in there and then just fill the tea kettle up so that the tea is then cooking in there. So if you want like a full thing of tea, and then that way you could also, chill it and have in the fridge for some, extra iced tea or something like that. Yes, Grammy Karen. And Jen also through the summer makes a gallon jug, 2 gallons. I think it's 1 gallon jug of iced tea every morning, but it's all teas, leaves and fruits and different things that she picks from around her yard. So I think that's so great too. Thank you, Karen. I really appreciate that. You're a good mod. I appreciate that. So, yep, you're right. You're right, Kimberly. It's just like, do the best that you can, and every little bit to improve your health is better than not at all. Exactly. So, Christine, a tea steeper thingy. Yes. And they're not that expensive. The one that I like to use, this one actually comes, I think the order had 2 to an order. So, for me, it's just me. So I have an extra just on hand in case, or I can, whatever. But it's nice and small and easy enough. You can bring it with you if you need to go somewhere else or whatever. So, hey, our cabin in the woods. Hello. Thank you for coming. Oh, yarrow. Okay, that's good. Wonderful. Yeah, even the sweet tea, you have to be careful. And so, yeah, sweet tea, usually if you have your own tea. Now, most of the black tea is fine, but there again, it's in bags that, but if you open up the bags and have, one of these little nesting containers in a pot or something like that, if you open the black tea bags and just pour the tea in there, the leaves, you should be fine. So you don't have to worry about using the tea bags. However, when you're making kombucha, yeah, I just throw the bags in there, and I hadn't even thought about that before. So that's probably going to change up my process for doing kombucha. I'll have to try that out, and once I get that process down, I'll do a video on that and see if I can help you guys out with that. Hey, Adaptive Maritimer. Hello. Yes, iced tea is so good. It really is. So use honey or cane sugar or raw sugar to sweeten it. Try to stay away from the regular What is the other one other than cane sugar? Um, I can't remember. But anyway, it comes from um, sugar beets, and we have huge sugar beet farms around here and lands, and they're actually harvesting them right now. And the sugar beets, I don't know if anybody, they look like huge potatoes. I mean, they're seriously like this big. They're huge. And I mean, we've got semi trailers that go up and down the road all the time, full of them. And but the thing is, they're all sprayed and everything else, so all of that gets tossed right into all the sugar. So, and the processes that they go through in extracting the sugar from those beets. So, um, so cane sugar is definitely, yep, sugar beets are highly sprayed. Absolutely. So, Alicia, is our cabin in the woods? Is that your? Well, I don't want to assume anything. So, Alicia, which one's your hubby? So stevia, yep, you can go that and throw that in with your tea. Certainly, that would be good too. So raw, yep. Yeah, that certainly does work there. So, so anyway, yeah, teas. I mean, it's a whole world of using all kinds of different things out there. If you grow your own, chamomile. If you grow, obviously, the different kinds of mints. And right now, all I have is peppermint in my garden, but I do want to grow. What is it, chocolate mint? Some of the other mints and different things like that. I don't think mullein grows here, so I'm going to have to end up, I might be wrong. I'm not sure. Somebody let me know. But I'm probably going to have to continue to buy that. As long as I can get it organically, and just get a good supply of it, that'll be good. But yeah, the peppermint and, so I'm going to really focus this winter on trying to develop some more of my herbs in my garden for the things that I need. So Kimberly, you're dehydrating some berries and cream mint. Ooh, I have not heard of that kind of mint. Where did you get that? So yeah, stevia I know can grow in Tennessee, in Kentucky, in that area. So that's definitely a warmer state than where I'm at. Yeah, we don't. Our growing season's done, except unless you have things undercover. But I just don't have that. So it's an annual here. Yeah, you've grown it in Washington State in the Midwest. No trouble at all. Okay, well, good, awesome, JB. That's so great. So the adaptive maritimer, where are you? You sounds like you would be northeast in the coast. Is that true? So, okay, thanks, Kimberly. I appreciate that. Bye, Karen. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Have a good evening and say hi to those kids for me. Give them a hug too for me, please. I appreciate it. Those are in Nova Scotia, Canada. Okay. The adaptive. That's an interesting name. So, what are you trying to adapt to when you're the adaptive maritime? Are you just trying to be like retired and trying to adapt to a new life outside of the sea? And if you could tell me what your first name is, I will make a note here. Oh, Alicia, your hubby. Okay. So it'd be Tim then. I remember that. Okay. There are a lot of Canadians out here. Neighbors from. So so I know you've been just starting to get a frost out there, so obviously no snow out east yet. Yes, it looked like it was still snowing out west a little bit. even like northern Manitoba type of area. So I had a couple charts here that I brought up that, oh yeah, on some of these teas, even if it says there's like natural flavors, they've added a lot of things in there to make it more palatable for people, so to speak, because they want to be able to really taste the cherry and they want to really taste the lemon and things like that. Um, but those are all like GMO flavorings. A number of them, again, have the soy lecithin in there. Okay, the brands that will have possible pesticides in them pretty much have harmful packaging too. I'm trying to, there's like 5 different categories here. It's possible pesticides, natural flavors, artificial flavors, GMOs, and harmful packaging. So just so we have Lipton, Celestial Seasonings, um, Tazo, Tazo, Teavana, Republic of Tea, Bigelow, Twinings, Yogi Tea, Tea Forte, or Forte, Mighty Leaf, Trader Joe's, Tetley. So they're kind of all the main things. I just had those charts up, and I figured since I'd gone to the trouble of getting them, I might as well read them to you. So, all right. Alicia, thank you. Well, Tim, it sounds like you're doing the best that you can, right? And God bless you in trying to make a life with that. So mullein is indigenous to Europe, but is naturalized to here. Leanna, you are just a wealth of information here. Thank you. Hey, getting started on homesteading. Hello. We only have a couple minutes left, but I'm glad that you're here. Thanks so much. So your most favorite herb this year was cinnamon basil. Smelled incredible. I can imagine. Now, that would be an annual then also, right? So, yeah, Leanna, the mullein, I've just seen some pictures of it recently, and I think I've seen that around too. So we should really investigate that and make sure that that's what it is, and then we can go through your pastures and harvest it, right? So thank you, Gil, so much. I appreciate you coming. Adaptive skateboarder. Okay. Wow. That's so great. Well, you must not be that old then, Tim, if you're still skateboarding. It's not like you're 65 and just, have to leave the sea there. You live in the Maritimes. Okay. That's a great name. You guys have done that. That's great. Stash wasn't on the list. Okay. I am not familiar with Stash. Is that an organic one? Hey, Bev. Hello. Thanks so much. Yes, it's been raining like 3 days. All day. Definitely. So it is a beastly looking thing, and it's huge, and it's fuzzy leaves and everything else like that. But boy, if you can get it where it hasn't been sprayed and it's around your farm, definitely try to harvest that. So Tim is a skateboarder, musician, husband, and father. You're right. It can't get any better than that. It's a good life. So, oh, you're so funny. Getting started on homesteading. You had a haircut. No, not a mullet. I'm talking about mullein, mullein leaf, and for tea and stuff like that. So, well, God bless you. Him those two. So, yep, just learning about mullein is a good one. So, Bev, we were talking about teas and the different things like that. So I hope you can go back and look at everything. But, it's top of the hour, and there's several other channels that are going on right now. Skyver's Big Family Homestead, several others. I know Sutton's Days is probably on right now, but or same time as me. But I want you guys to be able to go and support them. So I'm going to be signing off. Thank you so much for coming, and please continue to research on the tea, and let me know next week if you find anything out. All that kind of stuff. If you've figured out what other teas really help for ailments and stuff like that, that'd be so great. I really appreciate that. All right, you guys take care, and God bless, and always have hope. We're in a world that is dark. It really is, but God has given us hope, and I just live like that. So you guys take care. Good night.